Introduction to Azure Synapse Trigger Pipeline. Azure Synapse Analytics is a powerful platform that allows users to integrate and analyze data from various sources. One of the key features of Azure Synapse is the ability to trigger pipelines, which enables automated data processing and analysis. In this guide, we will walk through the process of creating and managing Azure Synapse trigger pipelines. Step 1. Understanding Azure Synapse triggers. Azure Synapse triggers are events that initiate the execution of a pipeline. There are two types of triggers in Azure Synapse: scheduled triggers and event triggers. Scheduled triggers allow pipelines to run at regular intervals, while event triggers run pipelines in response to specific events, such as the arrival of new data. Step 2. Creating a trigger. To create a trigger in Azure Synapse, navigate to the pipeline you want to trigger and click on the Triggers tab. Click the New Trigger button and select the type of trigger you want to create. For example, to create a schedule trigger, select the schedule trigger type and specify the schedule details, such as the frequency and start time. Step 3. Configuring trigger dependencies. Trigger dependencies allow you to specify the conditions under which a pipeline should run. For example, you can specify that a pipeline should only run if a specific dataset is available. To configure trigger dependencies, navigate to the Trigger Dependencies tab and specify the dataset and condition. Step 4. Managing trigger pipelines. Once a trigger is created, it can be managed through the Azure Synapse interface. You can view the status of the trigger, as well as the execution history of the pipeline. You can also pause or stop a trigger, which can be useful for debugging or maintenance purposes. Best practices for Azure Synapse trigger pipelines. There are several best practices to keep in mind when working with Azure Synapse trigger pipelines. First, make sure to test your triggers thoroughly to ensure they are working as expected. Second, use trigger dependencies to ensure that pipelines only run when necessary. Finally, monitor your trigger pipelines regularly to ensure they are running efficiently and effectively. Conclusion. In conclusion, Azure Synapse trigger pipelines provide a powerful way to automate data processing and analysis. By following the steps outlined in this guide, you can create and manage trigger pipelines that meet your specific needs. Remember to test your triggers thoroughly, use trigger dependencies, and monitor your pipelines regularly to ensure optimal performance. With practice and experience, you can become proficient in using Azure Synapse trigger pipelines to drive business insights and decision-making.